Three ways are open to her, he thought. To throw herself into the canal, to go to the madhouse, or finally, to throw herself into a depravity that stupefies reason and petrifies the heart. Can it be that this being, who has still kept her purity of spirit, in the end will be consciously pulled into this vile, stinking hole? Can it be that the pulling has already begun, and that she has been able to endure for so far only because vice no longer seems so loathsome to her? He goes on, is it possible to sit like that over perdition, right over the stinking hole that's already dragging her in, and wave her hands and stop her ears when she's being told of the danger? What does she expect? A miracle? No doubt. And isn't this all a sign of madness? I love that. The question of madness obviously is huge for Dostoevsky. And the story structure itself, the way that it's told, the narrative line, it feels like a car kind of careening out of control. Like you're probably going to crash at any second, but you're still on the ride, and you're averting one crisis after the next, on and on down the line. So you ask me what I think of Crime and Punishment. I think it's a dangerous book. I think it's exhausting because you're constantly on edge. I think the women in that world, and that world in general, is a suicidal world, to use the words of Dostoevsky. And it's brilliant. It dances on a very fine razor edge for a long time. And then it has this predictable end. It's a conundrum. I mean, it's an amazing experience. And I think for me, knowing some of the history, some of the backstory, for instance, that, you know, his stenographer was writing it down while he was dictating it. So this was just kind of all coming out of his mouth. So the way in which she laid the words on the page, something that is very interesting to me. And I'll never know. I'll never know. And how much insight she sort of slipped in or not. I find it super interesting, and I feel like bridging over into the play now, we have this tension, we have this unspoken excitement. There's so much going on under the surface, and there's sort of a physical stillness that's lifted by this tension that, you know, it just, I believe, also will leave our audience right on that razor edge if I do my job well. So my response is, wow, you know, it's quite a read. It's a lot to process. It's fun to play around with, just to open and read a pull quote and meditate on that one thing. And so that's kind of what I'm doing, just flipping through it, looking at it, and trying not to be intimidated. Or, you know, the book's already been written, and the literary analysis is all over the place out there about this. So that's not my job. My job is to be inspired by it, to find the spirit and the energy of it, the tone of it, the way that it moves, any kind of echoes from characters I can pull in. That makes sense. Nothing too forced. So that's where I'm at with it. And getting to your play, The Stenographer, anything you want to begin to speak of on that. I don't want to give away any part of it now. So if you want to, you know, toss back the beginning of a conversation, you know, what inspired you to write it, you know, even the chronology of when you began to write it and that kind of thing. Because I know you're a solo artist too, and give us a little history on yourself and your plays. That would be great. And what this one in particular means to you. And stay safe. Take care. Bye.